All right, guys, good morning. Today we are going to start to look at finding the area of composite shapes. So up until this point, we have looked at area of circles, we've looked at areas of triangles earlier in the year, and even some areas of trapezoids. So when we talk about finding the area of a composite shape, we're talking about finding the area of different type of shape, maybe a shape that's composed of others. So if you see here, we've got a rectangle and two triangles. We want to find the area of this shape. So we are going to be looking at 4 different types. One of them is going to be multiple shapes, and that's the example that you see here. So how can we find the area of a shape that's made up of multiple other shapes? So the first thing that we want to do here is we want to take a look at what shapes we have within our one shape. So if we are able to look at our shape here, we can see pretty easily that we've got our one rectangle, and then we've got our 2 triangles. So what we are going to have to do here is we are going to have to take the area of each of the triangles and the area of the rectangle and then add those together. So the first thing that you want to make sure that you have is your calculator, and you want to make sure that you have the formula sheet from our slides right up in front of you. So you can refer to that at any time. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that rectangle. So I'm going to start with the rectangle just because it's a little bit easier. So we're looking at this rectangle here. Now, notice that when we're looking at the rectangle, the 8 feet is only this portion of the rectangle. Remember, this is 8 feet, and then there's also another section on each side that is 3 feet, the bottom of each triangle. So we know that our total side of this rectangle is going to be 11 feet. And then we are told over here that it's 4 feet. So we know that the area of a rectangle is just the length times the width, or 11 times 4. So we know that the area of the rectangle is going to be 44 feet squared. Remember, our area is always squared. Now we have 2 triangles here. And place that some of you might make a mistake is if you look at these 2 triangles, you might glance at it quickly and you might think that they're the same size. However, they are not. So let's start with our top triangle. When we look at our top triangle, we see that one side is 2 feet. We see that we're given the bottom, which is 3 feet. So remember that the area of a triangle, again, looking back at your reference sheet, the area of a triangle is 1/2 your base times your height. 1/2 your base times your height. Now, in this case, when we're looking at this triangle, we want to make sure that we are calculating our base and our height correctly. So we want to make sure that we're putting 1/2 times our base times our height. So we can see here that our base is 3 and our height is 2. So when we calculate this out, and again, you're welcome to use a calculator here. When we do 1/2 times 3 times 2, we are given an answer of 3. So the area of that top triangle is going to be 3 feet squared. Now, let's move on to the area of this bottom triangle. So remember that they are not the same size. Remember that these triangles are not the same size. Notice how I'm drawing each shape separately. This is a good strategy for you to get used to. So this shape, we're given 3 feet here and 3 feet here. Again, the exact same formula for triangles. Take a look back at your reference sheet. Don't try and remember it on your own. Take a look back, take that extra 30 seconds, double check and make sure you're on the right track. 1/2 base times height. So in this case, we're looking at 1/2, our base is 3, and our height is 3. So when we do 1/2 times 3 times 3, we're given 4.5 feet squared. Now, we've done the hard part. All that we have left to do is we wanted to find the area of this entire shape, which means that the last thing that we need to do is we need to add up the areas of each of the components of this shape. So we found the area of each individual piece, so now we need to add them up. So when we do 44 plus 3 plus 4.5, again, these are the 3 parts that we found already of this shape. When we add those up, we're going to end up with 51.5. Again, it's an area, so we'll have feet squared. And that is our area. We found each individual piece, the area of each piece, and then we added them together to get our final answer. So when you're working with a shape that looks like this or looks like multiple pieces put together, you're just going to find the area of each individual section and add them up.